Yeah, some guys have got fishing boats. Some guys like to go hunting. Some guys like to go mountain biking. I just like to work in my shed and work on my tractors. So moving on to the second one here, this is a tractor built by a Spanish company called Motor Iberica. In the early 70s, Massey Ferguson and Ford got together and they used Motor Iberica to build some tractors there, and they called them Ebro. This particular one's a 460, 60 horsepower. It's running a Perkins 203 engine like you would have had on the old Massey Ferguson 65s and 165s. Actually, this one's running a Renault gearbox. The larger versions of these tractors here, they were actually derivatives of the old assembly line and production line of the Fordson Super Major. So you'll see a few of them around. They were quite prominent in the era of late 70s in New Zealand through to about mid 80s. This machine here is 1984. I brought it from a contractor over towards Raglan, and he had two of them. The other one is still being used at the moment, but they're a nice starting tractor. Power steering for its day. A little bit cramped for the bigger guy. You certainly weren't going to get some of the heavy weights today onto the seat. There's not a hell of a lot of leg room in there. But for their day, they were a nice little tractor. They were imported very early days through Bag in South Auckland, but they brought them in and they were distribution. And Mabel Motors, we were the agents for these for just a few years until we became importers ourselves. As far as preparation goes, it says a bit of a labour of love, but in this particular case here, she was fully stripped back to bare steel. I used the 6-ton forklift at work, stuck the forks through underneath the safety frame with the long extensions, came through here and ran a sling around the belly of it, hold her up in the air, and that was how it got painted. It was very OSHA approved. We had safety 44-gallon drums in there, so we were good. But all jokes aside, everything that we do is a bit of a passion, and we are conscious of safety, of course. It's the end result that gives you the kick along. And yeah, some guys have got fishing boats. Some guys like to go hunting. Some guys like to go mountain biking. I just like to work in my shed and work on my tractors. This tractor here, as I said, came out towards Raglan way. It was actually more out of Whata heading out towards Parongia and that back road to Parongia. So I was driving out there, and just over the Water Bridge there was a cop car sitting, and I kind of didn't think much about it at the time. But when I came back, I was driving this here with the D plates on it, had a sunroof on it, and I was merrily driving down the road. I come up the intersection and I looked across towards the bridge and I could see that damn cop was still sitting there. So I'm here now, I may as well keep on going. So I wasn't past them 50, 60 meters until the bloody alarm came on and he was chasing me. So I pulled him to the side of the road and he says, "Where do you think you're going?" I said, "Oh, taking it home." Where have you come from?" And I told him. He says, "Who owned it?" I said, "Ken Hain." "And you got his address and phone number?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "You think I stole this?" He said, No, I just wonder where you going now." He said, "I'm going to Martinsville." He says, "You're bloody mad." I said, "I'm going to Martinsville." He said, "You just go through Hamilton." I said, "Only just I ain't hiking here, drive past the hospital." He says, "I'll be on the main bloody road in half an hour. I'll be there now if you didn't stop me." So it went on for a little bit, and he says, "You're not allowed to drive this in the tractor." He says, "Your D plate," he says, "I'm not sure that you're actually allowed to do that." I said, "Well, you better get in your bloody RT and do what you want to do and ring whoever you want to ring." I said, "Because I'm ready to go." So half an hour later, he made a decision. But in the interim, Ken Hain, who'd had this here from new, turned up. Now, he's an older guy, I'd say very close, late 70s, 80s. Ken turns up, and he's all in the flap because I'm pulled up with a cop. And he goes to tell the cop who he is, and I just bought this tractor, and the cop says, "Mate, you better go to your car." And he was quite rude to Ken, and I was a bit embarrassed because Ken was just being helpful. He says, "No, that guy's installed it." He says, "He bought it off me and he's just driving it home. He's allowed to drive it home. I drive tractors all the time." And he was getting quite excited, and the cop had to tell him about 3 times. Now this cop had ginger hair. That tells you everything. So anyway, after about 15 minutes of deliberating, walking around the tractor, checking the tires, get me to put the foot in the brakes. You get no lights working. I said, don't need lights, it's daylight. Anyway, he let me go. So I was no sooner down off Greenwood Street and then into Kaikatea Drive, and there's a cop car coming towards me. And I seen him coming, and I thought, he knew that I'm coming. So I went, oh, waved like hell at him. He flicked his lights at me, he stuck the thumb out the window. And then, by God, I did pass another one at Newstead on the way past the cemetery at Newstead. So I think they must have put the alarm out to see if this crazy bastard was going to make it back to Morrinsville. But yeah, funny story. Yeah, things you never forget. Watch out for those ginger cops, mate.